Hello, it's Christine McAlister. Happy to be back with you after a week-long vacation and cruise in the Caribbean. And one of the beautiful things about a cruise is that you really have the opportunity to just step away from things and to do a lot of thinking because the Wi-Fi is quite expensive. And so it's not just easy to be on your phone, to be on your computer, to be checking in. And so I had a lot of time to ponder and to process and to journal. And here's a big thing that I want to share with you. It's this. The biggest lesson that I learned from being away, from being on this cruise, was in terms of my business, that wherever you go, there you are. You've maybe heard that quote before, but I want to dive into it a little bit. The idea that wherever you go, there you are. And what I mean by that is this. For good or for bad, in your business, on some exotic vacation, on the dream vacation, wherever you are in the world, whatever you're thinking about, whatever you are feeling, whatever you're working on, what's going on inside of you determines much more than where you are. So a lot of times I hear that, like, oh, if I could only get out of the job, then I would be able to grow my business. If I could just quit my job, then I know that I would be able to focus fully on my business. Well, guess what happens a lot of times when a woman quits her business? Suddenly she has all day to work on her business, and she doesn't know what to do to fill that time and to make it most efficient, because she didn't know how to make it most efficient when she was in her job. And so that habit, that lack of clarity, that overwhelm, all of that stuff only magnifies when she gets out of the job, and now she has a whole day to be overwhelmed, right? As opposed to, well, I go to work and I come home and work on my business. So wherever you go, there you are. You get out of the job and you think that's what's going to fix it. It's not, because you still don't know what to work on. Does that make sense? So it's like there's a desire and a need for more knowledge to be able to work on the right things in order to grow your business. So same thing when we join a program, or or we're reading articles or reading books or whatever about like another strategy, right? Like, I'm going to use Facebook Live to grow my business, let's say, or I'm going to make really awesome email newsletters, or I'm going to have a really awesome website. If we're not clear and we're looking to other people to sort of like validate all these different strategies, what someone else doing, what worked for them, then again, wherever you go, there you are. You're going to wind up putting all your hope and your faith in this tool or this strategy. And a tool or a strategy is just that. It's just that. It's not the internal confidence, the internal clarity, the internal focus, the internal drive to carry through, to stop procrastinating, to stop being a perfectionist, to stop basically giving your power away and saying, well, if I only had this, or if I only had that. So if you ever catch yourself saying, if I only had this, or I only had that, then I'd be successful, I'm here to challenge that thought a little bit for you. The idea that wherever you go, there you are, came up for me on this vacation because there was a time at the beginning of it when, I'll be honest, I felt anxious about stepping away from my business and really not being able to work on it and in it while I was gone. I knew that I was going to have my assistant check my emails and send me a summary once a day so that I could respond to my clients and so that they could be supported. But I knew that everything else was going on hold while I was in the middle of the ocean. And that was a mindset piece for me to work through, because wherever you go, there you are. So was I going to allow, some anxiety about stepping away and what was going to go on in my business while I was gone? Was I going to allow that to kind of be present with me in the Caribbean, be present with me on the island, be present with me on the beach, or was I going to enjoy where I was? And it was a choice to make. It was a choice to make, to frame and say, look, I've done these things to get ready. Yes, my list is going to grow while I'm gone. People are going to book calls to speak with me about working together while I'm gone. Those things happened. And to remember that, where we are in the present moment is an opportunity to be either at peace, anxious because we're worried about the future, or depressed because we're living in the past, like that quote says. So wherever you go, there you are. And I want you to think about that and ask yourself, am I sort of giving away my power? Am I assigning that someday, my dreams, to something outside of today? Or am I owning that the most important thing that I can do to grow my business right now is to work on myself and to look around and see what I need to do to work on myself and to focus on that? Because out of that place of knowing, of trusting your intuition, of trusting yourself to take the next step that you feel like is in front of you, even if it feels scary, being able to step into that space is what allows you to grow your business. Not the perfect website, not the perfect this, not the perfect that, not following someone else's exact formula or system, because everybody is different. There are a million different ways to grow a business, and it's about figuring out which one is right for you. And this is a conversation I have with my clients all the time. Some of them love webinars, some of them love writing, some of them love Facebook groups, some of them love running challenges, and it doesn't mean there's one right way to build a business. So I want you to ask yourself, am I focused on just the strategy, the overall strategy, or am I focused on growing myself into a person who is capable of choosing an intelligent strategy, following through on it, and believing in herself to do it? And what do I need to do to feel more confident? What do I need to do to show up consistently, right? How to be consistently consistent. It all comes back to something internal. It all comes back to that choice. And so I think a lot of times we just think it's something outside of ourselves. If I only was able to quit the job, if I only was able to have more time to work on my business, if I only had more money, when the truth is you becoming a person who is capable of getting those things, of quitting the job, of getting more money, of getting more clients, is where to focus now. Because wherever you go, there you are. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this in the comments. I'd love to hear if you agree with me. I'd love to hear if you have some ahas about, well, gosh, I have been thinking it was going to be this thing, but actually what I'm realizing, listening to you talk is actually could really stand to gain by focusing on myself and growing myself into the person who can be a confident CEO, a confident owner of her business, because that's where you're going to get to the good stuff. That's where you're going to get to the good stuff. That's where it's not going to feel like I have to work all the time in order to grow my business. Like I mentioned, this was some anxiety that came up for me when I was leaving on the cruise, because I wasn't going to be able to be working on my business a lot. And, I love working on my business. So in some ways that's the default for me. But in some ways it was also an old story, because I have a 10-month-old. So I don't work on my business all the time. I just don't. I'm with her. But yet there was something, because it was a different situation, because I was about to do something a lot more extreme where I wasn't going to be able to be working on my business, let's say during her nap time or whatever, that I had to kind of come face to face with a different mindset struggle of I'm going to step away from this for several days. I don't even have the ability really to do much with it other than respond to my clients' emails. That's the choice that I've made. Everything's going to run smoothly. In my head, I know that, but that fear coming up just reminded me this is an old story, and I have the opportunity to instead decide to do things like I did, where I did yoga on a private beach, and it was looking out over these crystal blue waters, and it was really warm, and even though I was in the shade, my sweat was sweating, Wherever you, and it was led by a man from India. It was like super legit yoga. Wherever you go, there you are. So in that moment, I'm thinking about, my downward facing dogs, my upward facing dogs, and all the sand and being present, right? And I'm not thinking about opt-ins or anything like that. I went, a week without hearing someone say the word opt-in or optimization or newsletter or list or anything like that, other than talking with my clients about what was going on for them. I really embraced this idea of wherever you go, there you are. And it got driven home for me because of this old story that I used to have about, like, if I don't work on my business all the time, then it's not going to grow. But when you put smart strategies around your passion, around your focus, and do things like maybe set up an email list, have an opt-in that people can join at any time, publish articles like I do on Thrive Global and on Medium, have podcasts that are sitting out there that people are listening to all the time, right? My website is set up to help people find my Facebook group easily, and all of those different things. Like those things, because I had worked hard, those things made it possible for me to go, look, I can take a break. I can step away. I can spend between 5 and 10 minutes a day working on and in my business, and it's still going to grow while I'm gone. And that is the power of smart strategy, and that is the power of being really, really clear. And that is something that I work with every single one of my clients on, being clear. And let's not do all the things. Let's do the things that are aligned all the way through to bring you clients. Not just let's be visible here for visibility's sake. Let's be visible here because it's going to, feel good, or we think that's going to be the thing that's going to get us the clients or whatever. But is it actually aligned all the way through the process to bring you what you want? So, every time I write an article, let's say, I'm going to include something at the end that talks about some gift that I have that people might make people want to join my list that's related to something I just wrote about, right? And I'll talk about procrastination and then say, you can learn more about how to quit your job here, right? I talk about procrastination as it relates to getting momentum and in your business, and then I offer something like, here's some other things you can do to get momentum and get your clients. Does that make sense? So it's like this alignment process, but that came from a lot of work, a lot of getting my own support, and a lot of retraining my brain to be able to be present, to be focused when I'm working on my business, and to go, all right, it's time to give ourselves permission to play, because I know that's going to grow my business too. Doesn't mean there's never going to be any resistance. Like I said, this is an old story I have coming up for me, and it gave me some anxiety, but I was able to recognize it. I was able to reach out for support and go, this is what's going on for me. It doesn't feel good. I know this isn't true. Let's reframe this, right? And there's a lot of power in that. Kalila says, love this. It's so true. There are always 1,000 excuses, but I'm learning that I can break through these with a solid foundation of self-belief, confidence, and dedication. So true, right, Kalila? That just gave me chills. Yes, knowing the power of when you get aware of those thoughts, right? When you realize that wherever you go, there you are, that you could be in the most fabulous place on earth and you could still be freaking out about your business because you're worried, right? Because you don't trust that you've done the right things and set yourself up for success. When you shift your mindset to go, I'm here, I'm going to enjoy this, and I'm going to trust that it's going to build my business, and I'm going to be fully present, because who knows, I might get the best idea in the world while I am on vacation, right? It's like the shower principle. You get your great ideas in the shower. Wherever you go, there you are. That's a thing to remember. It's catchy, it's pithy, it's sticky, and I want you to think about how you can apply that to your business. And if you have thoughts, if you have insights, then I'd love for you to share those in the comments with me. I will look forward to reading them, whether you're watching this live or on the replay. I want you to think about where you might be asking yourself, or where you might be telling yourself, like, if only I had this, or if only I had this. Let's start to like get aware and banish those excuses so that we can move forward, so that you can move forward in your business, and so that you can recognize that actually the smartest thing that you can do to work on your business is to work on yourself, to get that support that you need to grow into a person who's able to carry out the different parts of the business, and that it's not just about having more time or more money or more this or more that or less fear. We all have fear. We all have anxieties come up. That's why I'm sharing with you about one of mine, a big one that came up on the cruise. And I'd love, love, love to hear where you are right now, so that we can cheer you on, so that we can support you.